Good evening, viewers, and welcome to The Price of Fame. My name is Lunga Tshuka, and I'll be your host. So, The Price of Fame is a podcast that focuses on the real stories about the journey to success, from the moment of realization of one's gift or purpose. And in these stories, we aim to share the light on the sacrifices, the hardships, and the mindsets our guests have to overcome to achieve their current position in their career. And these are their stories. Oh, what is this? A letter from the universe. Oh, interesting. Okay, it says that tonight's guest, ladies and gentlemen, is a youthful, dynamic mathematics subject advisor in the Cape Winelands Education District. Interesting. He's one of 32 individuals from around the world to serve in the Mathigon Educator Advisory Board. He's been on huge platforms such as TEDx speaker, the Access Emmett Summit, hosted by the Global Teachers Institute. He's been profiled by the Designing Daba, Mercedes-Benz, and major news platforms. He has also graced stage at the Edu Africa 2020 and the T4U Global Showcase because of his impact on the world. Love the universe. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome to the screen the very talented, amazing, flying the flag all over the world. Give it up for Cape Minnar!
Yo, so much. That was so much, Lunga.
Respect, bro.
Thank you. That was an intense intro. Huh?
Bro, that was from the universe, bro. That was a letter from it literally just appeared now because of all the amazing work that you're doing all over the world, you know. I mean, you come and with what you've done and just how you fought with this whole mathematics thing and how you just shaped it and changed it. You started at school. You started at a school and then the school became too small. And then you went national and then you went international. Now you're just on a global platform. That's where you're touching now. You're just doing things on global platforms. So yo, the universe
feeling it out. We're feeling it out, bro.
No, bro. The universe recognized you and they're like, boom, they just gave me this. Like, no, this is this guy. Let me tell you who he is. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kurt Minnar. Please like all the likes, go crazy in your house.
Shot, Lunga, man. It's great to chat to you, brother.
Sorry?
Excited to chat to you, bro, man. Yo, I mean, we go back and we're good friends and stuff. So, yeah. And excited about your show, you know, real, raw, and honest. So, yeah, thank you for having me on your show.
Man. No, it's really an honor to have you on this platform because, like you say, we go back. I personally know some of your journey, you know, because we've lived and we walked together personally on parts of our journey. And we've always just been there within the industry, seeing each other, you know. And always just having the moments to catch up and support. So it's really cool to share your story with everyone, especially those who know you, just know like the amazing things that you do, just to know where you actually came from, to hopefully inspire those, you know, who are kind of facing something similar. And also maybe we have a similar dream that you have, you know. So we just want to be real, raw and authentic. And I hope so that we just shine a light today.
Let's do it. I'm excited.
Cool. So let's get straight into it, brother. How has 2021 been treating you so far? I mean, it's been a crazy year. I mean, teaching, especially with the homeschooling and all of that, and especially with the global thing that you're doing now. I know that's a huge win for you, but like, how is the year actually behind the scenes?
So it's been very sweet and sour. The year's been sweet and sour. I started of the year I ended of last year with a heavy low, and it just continued for the first part of 2021. So that was heavy, and I will dig into that a bit later. Talk a bit more about that. And then obviously, you know, I'm a people's person. I like being around people. I like being around my family and my friends. You know, I go bus. And then obviously just with COVID, you know, it's like it took the human connection away, which is, you know, the essence of being human. You know what I mean? Just being around people and stuff. So that's been whack. And then obviously also just more of the sours, the losses. Today I attended the funeral service of my principal at Ibn Donges High School. Was one of my first leaders, and he's just an incredible guy. And then also earlier the year, a great friend of mine who studied with Ronald Koch that passed away. And I can't get to see my mom as often, for example, as I want to with certain family members. because you also
Absolutely.
just like, I want to go, but I'm like, I need to protect you. But on the flip side, um, things popped up again out to the blue. Just in terms of like on being on your show and talking to you now, it's been great to share my voice. Yesterday or Friday past, I had an opportunity to be a speaker at the Creative Arts Conference that was held by Rustenburg Jr. And then also I got I think it's the job that I wanted at the Cape Winelands Education District, you know, working with a great, incredible team with a progressive leadership. You know what I mean? So it's been sweet and sour. And I was just saying, like, it's amazing how complex it is, right? On the one hand, you can be celebrating something, and on the other hand, you can be suffering severe loss or just like some pain. And you have to kind of, you crying. The other day I was crying in the car. Then I was happy for something and I was crying. It's just this wave, you know?
It's such an
Wave.
intense, weird balance right now, you know. It's like both
Okay.
sides are intense. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the sad parts and the losses is kind of intense, and also the gains are also kind of intense, you know.
Yes.
So it's like very much the scale is just bouncing heavy, you know, and
Yeah.
it can really mess with you and really drain you as a human because you're not prepared for all of these things, you know. You're not prepared for all of the challenges, and you're also not prepared for all of these gains that are just coming after each other, you know.
Yes.
So it's like, word, like, where do I
I
find
don't
the gap?
understand it. Like, I don't understand, like, what is happening. Because I know, like, I believe in God, you know, and there's a bigger picture, right? So when I see these things happen, I'm like, cool. And then I also want to know, like, Lord, like, how is this fitting into everything, man? You know, it's exciting. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I guess it matures us, and it's a pandemic. It's abnormal times we're living in. So it's it's been sweet and sour.
And you're still dealing with a little kid as well. You still have to be a little
Bro.
balance all of that.
Bro, I am sitting in the garage right now. If I had to be in the house, bro, it would have been crazy. So yeah, so sitting here, it's a bit cold here.
Yeah.
But no. And she's beautiful. She's incredible. She's
Yeah.
keeping us very busy. Still figuring out this whole parenting thing, you know. But it's amazing. I like to make a lot of jokes about it. I shared a story the other day about taking a photo with a front camera, and then she was happy. The moment I flipped it, she just lost it. And I'm like, what now? Do you know what I mean? Like, the other day, my wife took it to Krish, and she cried because she wanted my wife to park somewhere else. That's weird, but she's amazing.
Yeah. She probably just wasn't feeling the energy of that parking. She's like, nah, I don't like things. It's so cool.
The universe is like, nah, easy.
So good. Listen up, man. What a lot of people don't know about you, especially the people that you've probably met in the last 10 years, you know. They don't know that you actually started out as a dancer, you know.
Yes.
You started in the hip hop scene. I mean, the first time you putting yourself out there and expressing yourself to people and the audience and the world was you stepping into the hip hop scene as Kurt, right?
Yeah.
And I think I remember that day, you know, it was a huge event, and I think it was Alice Girl, you know, it was one. And they said off the mic, yo, Pinkert, is Pinkert out there? And for a while it was quiet, you know, and they're like, Pinkert, you know, and then we're like, okay, just before we move on, this guy puts up his hand. He's like, yeah, I'm here. And we're like, yo, this guy's been sitting just there the whole time. And ever since then, your journey has like never like stopped propelling. I mean, you became a very successful dancer. I mean, you became one of the very successful dance groups at it was in Cape Town as well. You know, you fly flag also with dancing also in Las Vegas. Also, you had a dance studio, which was very successful as well. You were teaching kids and all of that. But then somehow you just flipped the script and you became a teacher. So can you take us to the beginning of Kurt with all the dancing, and how did you flip the script and become the person that you are today?
Okay, so I'm going to do justice to this. So I'm the youngest of 3 kids, right? I got an incredible mom. My dad passed 1996. I'll talk about that a bit later. And I was always, right through my schooling career, this average kid, just average at schoolwork. Not too bad at athletics, not too bad, but I never really found my thing. But with dance, I remember there was a guy in my school. His name was Michael Verrett, and he used to do the popping, and they used to rap and stuff. And I know in class he used to rap this one thing. I didn't go. He used to go, Coke, salad, simba chips, paper plates en serviettes, vors, chips en hoender, ossers met die kos te doen. I'll never forget that. Stuff that stuck with me. But when we had assemblies and stuff, and they asked anybody to come up and dance, I would always go, Michael, go. And he would go and dance. And I knew at that stage, I can dance. Right? My brother and sister, successful in school in an academic space. Me, my bro, I came to high school, Lunga. They had that expectation of me as well until the marks came and they were like, okay, you're not your brother or your sister. So there was this whole me comparing myself to my brother, my sister, incredible mom, heavy supporter, so dope.
Yeah.
Then at some point, I ended up at the hip hop in Daba also, right? Then it was movies, dance movies, and I saw dance. And I remember seeing Psycho, one of the dance of back in the day.
Yeah.
And he was doing this weird moves. And I mean, firstly, the event blew my mind. Like, this happens in Cape Town. I've never seen anything like it. And then I saw that dance, the Psycho, he still danced the song Evanescence. And I will never forget, I was like, damn. Came home, I was still with my clique of friends. And at that time, it was still a partying thing, drinking and going bush. Me practicing in the mirror. So I'm at school, I finish school, I get into this after school, I get into the dance thing, copied. And once the bug bit in terms of, now I remember school is just horrible. I was just average sucking dice, net a ding. Class clown in a sense, but never good enough to go into comedy, never thought of it then, my cut all the time. And then I got to the point with this bug bit of dance and I started dancing every single day. I remember taking an old mat out to my mom's house and an old CD player that was there. And it just became my pattern. And I obviously didn't know back then. And I would put the mat down. I would pray on my knees, Lord, bless me, let me dance like it today. And I would dance. And most of my clique of friends then, nobody danced. Nobody in my group danced. I never knew any dancers. So, and then since then, everything changed. And then that's literally I've been practicing on my own. Then this Alex Grow Cup thing came. So it got to the point where I'd jog in the area and I'd practice on the field, my bro. I'm heel wat nail with a leather jacket and I'm just nail, my bro. Sexy love. And my friends would look at me like, what's this bra doing?
Yeah.
Anyway, then Alex Grow Cup happened. I started dancing. I got exposed. And then I started making connections with more dancers. And then the journey went forward and I started clicking with people, entered competitions, met people. And then what you spoke about was Minnar release crew. I don't know how much detail you want. Is that enough there? Just in terms of, that's when the dancing came. Away. So the dancing bug, but this, I think this is what stood out for me about the dancing, because I was a brother that chopped and changed everything. And I never stuck to anything long enough to really be good at it. When I started dancing and the bug bit and we formed the crew and I started doing well in dance, I realized, like, is this what it is like to be successful in something? Right? Because the crew, we can talk about, you can ask what you think I should focus on. The crew done well internationally. We placed first group from, release crew was the first group from Africa to place top 12, right? We won a lot of comps in Africa, even individually. I entered and done well in quite a lot of comps. Not winning maybe all time, but I was up there, hosting some stuff with the studio, starting the studio. My brother supported me heavily there. But then I realized, is this what it's like to be successful at something? I want this for everything else I do. And that's when quite a lot changed for me. I was like, okay, I didn't do schoolwork so well, but I want to do well in whatever I'm studying now. If this, I want to do well in this. And it wasn't even going to be easy to me. I had to practice hard, my bro. But dance came a bit more naturally than the books and all the other stuff here.
That's crazy because, I mean, like, obviously dance is something more feeling. The books and all this stuff is more something that you have to learn and adapt, you know?
Yeah,
and dance,
especially for me.
Dancing, you can literally just be yourself, you know, in this minute now and just freestyle. And you can literally blow yourself away, you know? But with books, you need to, like, first study and make sure you know what you're doing before you can impress anyone else yourself, you know?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And it's so interesting that you said that you actually weren't so good in schoolwork when you were doing school because your siblings were doing a lot better. And look at yourself now. You all about better the kid. You're all about bettering the children in their
Yes.
school. But you made that flip, and like, so you've been so when you were doing this dancing and all of the successful things, and I mean, you put together a successful dance production. I remember. I think
Yes,
it
the
was
satellite of mine. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, that was very successful. And that also had like a school kind of background or school kind of
Yes.
as well. And from there, you just left it behind and then you went to school. So were you studying to be a teacher this whole time while you were dancing? Or did you just decide like somewhere random, like, you know what, I want to change directions and just do
Okay.
this?
Let me focus on that side, please. So I mean, when I finished school, I was living. I feel like I was living this dual life, man, in terms of what I was studying and what my interest was. It was completely separate, right? Studying, but my mom had this rule, man, amazing mom, and I'm glad she put that pressure on me. She always told me, Kurt, you can do what you want to, but you're going to finish a degree, right? So I finished school, and I thought, hey, I want to go because I wasn't too bad. The one thing I did at school that wasn't too bad was sports. So I wasn't too bad in athletics. I wasn't too bad in table tennis, but stop that. I also stopped that. I wasn't too bad in soccer, not as good as all the other mates, but soccer was the thing that I was into. So I was like, okay, I'm going to study sports management. I get there and I'm doing well, but then I realized when I'm done, I must go work in the gym. And I kind of saw what the careers led to in that space. I was like, nah, this isn't me. But I was such a naughty lighty at that place. It was still Tigerberg College, my bro. But I was naughty. And I had a clique of brothers that were naughty with me, but I was passing and doing well. I was freak naughty. I would lead them verkeerd, and then I would come home and study. So I was like in the top 5 there, which was very impressive to me. Like, Kurt, you're not doing too badly here.
Yeah.
I dropped out after 6 months. I was home 6 months. Then I go to UWC, end up getting in for a BCom General, my bro. And I chose a subject. So I'm choosing my subjects. I got English. I think it was English, don't know what. It was Xhosa we had to do, business management. I don't know what. Then I had to choose one more subject. I didn't know what to choose. I'm looking at this subject I can choose. I chose anthropology and sociology. You know, the funny part is, I had no idea what it was, my bro. I just thought anthropology and sociology sounds dope when I'm running with my brother. What you studying? No, I've got, anthro and social, just got the subject. Anyway, listen to this.
Yeah.
6 months there, drop out. This season for me, my bro. I remember hiding that report when I got that semester's report, throwing it into the bin. My mother still hasn't seen it. Boom.
Wow.
6 months at home, and I'm still with Brasa partying. I had a click. We'll talk about it later. And then I got to the point like, nah, good. This isn't working. It's 2 years of messing. But my mother, you're going to study something, finish. And me putting that pressure on myself, and my brother, which is today a mechatronic engineer, finished his PhD, and don't know what. Dope stuff. My sister got a master's and this stuff. But my mother, great fair. I then go and started TV presenting and drama at Damlin. Finished the diploma. Lekker. Not too shabby. Very impressed with myself. Also at that point, I was like, nah, man. Christian family. Gave my heart to the Lord. I prayed, Lord, you help me. Done with my drinking and all this other stuff. Mom knew about all this stuff, but there's a lot of stuff a lot of people don't know about, how it goes,
Yeah.
Then I started studying teaching. My bro, family's teachers, mom and dad side, and I'm studying teaching. And I don't know what happened, but then all of a sudden, and this time I'm dancing and teaching, but separate. I was in the release crew at some point. I started a CPUT dance group that flipping was huge and done well. And then my marks started increasing. And some of them did poorly. My marks was increasing. And I was like, but now what's going on here? Why did I suck it? Anyway, I didn't even know how I ended up with maths as a subject at CPUT. When they looked at my maths marks, they should have been, nah, bro, fuck. You can't teach this. It was bad.
Really?
Yeah, it was bad. And then, but what happened is I chose entrepreneurship, business studies, and technology, computer science.
Yeah.
And they told me, one of the lecturers said, computer science and maths goes together. So good, you should take maths. Me, like a mad brother that forgot how I struggled. Yes, let's go. Then I did computer science, coding, and all the good and Excel. That time I was just like, I can't. In class, I was chatting. We figured out we could chat to each other, so we were chatting to various computers. I dropped it. Dropped it, stuck with maths. This was interesting. Like I said, then my marks started improving. Then I couldn't understand what it was. Then I started questioning a lot of things about, I think, the system. Was it me? Was it the school? Was it the teachers? Was it how they taught me? What was it? Was it that I was older and more mature? Was it? I don't know. Then things, and then I was in a dope clique of people that are great teachers today. I don't want to name them, just I forget the name, but they are doing incredible work. And then, remember all this happening, then the first trip to Vegas, LA happened. Before it was released, it was still the individuals they chose for the Vegas comp. So I was part of the first group that they selected to go to LA. That was the first time I traveled as well. I remember sitting with another day, with Bucks. And he was also in it, and Dane. We were laughing. No, it was me and Dane. I don't know if people would remember, don't know who it is. Anyway, and it was an incredible trip, but then it wasn't cruise yet. The very next year, cruise, and then and remember studying and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Then the flip came. I started teaching in 2009. I graduated. Woo! God finished his degree. Amazing. It was quite. And then the kids just weren't doing well. But I always, because there's something, I feel like I always knew that if I committed to teaching, I wouldn't be a bad teacher. Right? But all my time at school at that time was focused on dance. I'd come to school and couldn't wait to leave school because I'm going to go practice with a crew, with a release crew, then, the members of the crew, and we practice. But what was weird for me was this, man. I battled, for example, with discipline in my class, right? But then I would go onto a stage as Pinkert individually or the crew, and we had large crowds. Sometimes there were thousands in the crowd, sometimes there were hundreds in smaller groups, but I could hold the audience like this. So there was this parallel. Struggling on the one hand and doing well on the other side, right? And I thought I was a horrible teacher. I was of the staff at Eben Dodgers. I let my reg geruk daar. Grateful for my journey there. And got done with the dancing, and the flip came, and I was like, you know what? I'm now going to focus all my attention on teaching, and all my talent and my skills and my connection and my collaborations in the hip-hop space and the art space, I'm going to pull into teaching. So the focus wasn't so much traveling overseas or traveling abroad with the dance and competing internationally and being the best dancer for a competition or working on stuff. It was, okay, how do I be the dopest teacher? How do I bring myself to the teaching space? Because I was mimicking other teachers, trying to teach like other teachers. I wasn't myself, authentic, Kurt, Minnar. Then, my bro, when I made that flip, everything changed. The rapping started in the class, making circles in terms of how we connected. Remember, as a crew, as a dance crew, also going, we want to be creative, we want to hold the crowd, but we also want to connect with them on their level, right? And that is almost what guided my pedagogy as a teacher. I want to be creative, so they mustn't know what's coming all the time. I want to connect with them. So, Kurt, you need to know who your students are, right? And then me being authentic, I could help them be authentic. And once I brought Kurt and I would dress in a certain way, hip-hop, my bro, I would be in that FUBU tracksuits, that big, what do you call it? What material was it? I came with that to school. Then I get called to the office, your dress code. Then 2 days I'm suit and tie, back to my vibe, my bro, because I had to be authentic. And oftentimes in certain spaces, you're not allowed to be yourself. There's limitations on who you can be and how you can dress and all these things. Some teachers even ask me, can I feel your hair? My bro, this must not dress as normal. It's must... Anyway. And when that happened, Lunga, that's how the flip came. And last thing, because I struggled as a student, what became my major thing that pushed me and is still pushing me is because I knew I was a student that struggled, failed major exams before, wasn't the brightest, but I ended up doing better and tasted a bit of success in dance. I was like, wait, man. That means if I can, all these lighties can, all our kids can, which I believe that all our kids can. It depends on the conditions. So because I know what it's like to struggle, I could help them, and that's the move, bro. Away.
That's so amazing. And listen, and like you said, you saw there was actually, because that was good, that a good thing that you mentioned. You're like, wait, man, I actually did bad when I was in school with maths. How is it that I'm passing it now? How is it that I'm doing so well now? Is it because I'm a bit older? Is it the system?
Yes.
What going on, you know? And that's so true because that's what you eventually did. You went to school and you're like, the way you guys are doing things is not working. I'm
Yep.
gonna be the first person in this whole building to flip it
Yep.
up, and I'm gonna throw hip hop in this because these are
Yep.
kids. Kids need color, kids need rhythm, kids need, you know, something that they can latch onto. They will learn a lot
Yep.
better that. And I'm sure, like you said, it wasn't easy because yeah, you had to break that. Yeah, you had to break molds, and yeah, you had to
Yep.
break system that some people believe that's been working for many, many years before you.
Yeah.
So you probably got a lot of who do you think you are coming here for the first time.
Yeah.
So
Listen
can you
here.
tell us a little bit about those challenges? You know
Listen
that
here.
you had through first before everyone could actually realize, wait, you're actually onto something. Can you tell us
Yeah.
about that little you had to walk?
So you spoke about Alice Grow Cup earlier. And I would just stick it right and said, and I think that was
Yeah,
one of the things that helped me. I was never afraid to just be me and go do what I must do, right? And because I wasn't afraid and I had it from the hip hop space, right? That transition, I wasn't afraid to just start and try. Now, fortunately for me, what enabled me was my principal at that time, Mr. Taylor. It was in a very unique situation, being the first colored principal in that school and all the dynamics there, right? But I don't want to venture off into it, slide off, but so he had a whole lot of other challenges, but he allowed me to be me. He supported me. A lot of the teachers didn't understand what I was doing. Some
yes,
would speak to me privately. So they wouldn't break you down or anything, but it wasn't like, okay, can I try this in my class? That uptake wasn't there. But I was just glad that I had the space to do it and to do what I had to do. So I would come to class. I recorded the track. I couldn't. I was like, I'm gonna rap the stuff. Went into studio with my homie, put the tracks out, played it in class. The music started getting louder. Sometimes there were complaints, Kurt, you too loud. Make it softer. But I'm like, this is learning. This is how it's supposed to be. It isn't
yeah,
always straight, grows quiet, like robots, verbatim responses. That's not learning. Um, so yeah, I remember. So I think I continually did that. Right? I remember having a conversation at the staff room at some point also where I was told, as net die kinders wat sukkel, it's just the kids that are struggling. And I couldn't understand that. It can't just be the kids. So yeah, I mean, I just kept going. I know there was things said it, and I didn't worry about it. I just kept on, my bro. I just and I was uncovering who I was as a teacher. Right? And I think that kept me so going that I was also focused on what I was doing, and I wasn't too worried about like what this one is saying. Even if they said, my bro, it is what it is. I remember one thing. When the story broke in the media, 2016, a journalist came to school. And I know one of the teachers actually asked the journalist, because the journalist came and told me, like, one of the teachers actually asked, why are you here? Why is this even a story? This shouldn't even be a story. It's just whatever. So I was like, and you win. You just keep going, my bro. I don't know. And still today, when I push and press into various spaces, I'm just gonna keep going. Nothing is gonna stop me because I just know that I'm doing it for the kids, man. And we need to do something. Need to do something different. What else was there? Yeah, I think you walked into sometimes into spaces where it was awkward.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I think when the media popped up at 2016, then it became awkward. There were
yeah,
moments where I was still like, someone asked me for advice. What did you do in English class? And then I shared, but as I was talking, the one said, yeah, but you're not English teacher. But you just asked me for advice. Now you're saying I'm not
yeah.
an English teacher, because I just shared how I would connect with the kids. So I just
Absolutely.
remember,
Yeah.
it's about connection. Once you
Yes.
connect with your kids, my bro, it's like, was it part in Gladiator where they go, where they ask for advice? He says, I also once won, whatever. Just win the crowd. So I was like, win the crowd, win your kids. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so awesome, man. And like with that, that's so cool. And like at what stage did actually like everyone, when did it actually become a thing where you actually like, wow, it's something that's successful now and it's something that it's new and people are accepting it and you'll be receiving all these awards and people are recognizing you for it. And even with the
Um,
TEDx and that started, when did it become that shift? But like, I mean,
look
like
at,
you said, like I said, at some point, the school wasn't big enough for what you're trying to teach. You needed to take it
yeah,
further to platforms. So when
I
did
tell
it
you,
actually What moment did that spark it?
Listen, when I made that shift, in terms of I'm going to do this dancing, my focus was to change because I just want to be a good teacher. I wanted to be a good educator in terms of how I operate in the school. And then I remember at some point I spoke to the leadership and I said I want to take all the grade 8s for maths, right? Everybody, so I can build that foundation. 2016, bro, I worked night and day. I was constantly busy creating. My wife and I was busy creating content and videos and stuff. So it became a thing, and that's how I started teaching. And it never spread in the school, right? But it was accepted. This is Kurt's doing his thing, and that's the buzz. But that year, I was like, yeah, the Lord, like, how? I was so prayerful because there was a moment at home where I was like, I'm just this, bro. I'm just a teacher. How do I make an impact? And I made a promise to the Lord here in the lounge saying, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to give my all. And I want the kids to see something great so they can actually believe because a lot of times we tell kids, you can do anything, but they don't have examples. They don't see anybody achieving anything. People in the communities, they stay there. They're battling with things. So I was like, if they can see it, then maybe. We worked so hard that year. I remember doing a Saturday class, bro. Usually we send letters out for after school class, right? Your kids, a Saturday, your kids must come. I told the kids, oh my God, I'm not going to send a letter out. You be here Saturday if you want to be here, but I'm going to be here for you, and we're going to do this thing. Now I'm thinking 40, 50 kids are going to come. 180 odd kids came, 186, 4 kids weren't there, bro. And they still gave me letters. I didn't ask for a letter. They came and said, this is the reason, this is the reason. And I wasn't prepared, but it just shows in terms of this thing that I'm doing connected with the kids. And it's working. They feel seen, they feel felt, and supported.
Yeah.
They feel felt. Oh, yeah. Anyway.
We know what you mean. We know what you mean.
You know what I mean? And then at the end of that year, I remember so many of my kids' results improved. I couldn't believe it. And just the vibe was amazing. But there was still a group that I couldn't get. And I was like, Lord, I gave my all, man.
Yes.
Then I got that call from Aiden Thomas. Not a call, I was going to get an interview on Hot FM. Yeah. And the interesting thing is that interview was on the very last day of school. The very last school day for that year. And that interview just almost ignited everything in terms of provincially and whoever listened. And then from that point, it was a media rush. So, and the great part about it is the kids experienced that with me. When the media came, if you look at those videos, they with me, we talking, we just being ourselves. And the kids got to see, which I think is great, is this guy worked hard, he served us, we worked well, and then something good happened. Right? So I think that is also where everything kind of also shifted. Mercedes-Benz, like you mentioned, all those things. And I also remember, like, I've always wanted to do a TED Talk. Always. Lo and behold, 2018, I get a call to say, TEDx Stellenbosch wants you to be part of this thing. I was like, damn, crazy. Then it was speak here, speak in. And I think that's where a lot of stuff just took off. And then I've been thinking of, I thought at the stage, I want to resign. A lot of people thought I resigned because of that, but I resigned at the stage because I wanted to move faster. I wanted to do a lot of things that I couldn't do as a teacher, right? And some people were thinking, Kurt, I resigned when no. No. Bro, when I resigned, the plan was for my wife to resign a bit later. She resigned shortly after. Listen to this. Then we rented our place out. And then my wife and I went to go stay back here by my mother at the back where we got married in the separate entrance here, right?
Yes.
Bro, and the media was going crazy and everybody was just, yo, Kurt. Woo, it's amazing. Kanti, payments are bouncing. Because I didn't look at, I wanted to resign and do this thing, but I can be honest and say, I didn't think everything through, especially maybe from a financial point of view, properly, right? So cash would come in from gigs and it was incredible, but there were times where you couldn't cover stuff. So I was basically like a freelancer. I was in the entrepreneurship space. Then you get a bit of cash from the department to the retirement, you put some away and you live your best life. And fortunately, Ford Asset Management came on board and supported a lot of the projects, sponsored me with gear. It was incredible, but it was such a rocky thing. Times people thought it's this amazing. I'm like, you don't know. But that's the point where after that interview, things have just been like this. And what's crazy, I think, is, a lot of times people pop up for something and then it's quiet again.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking to you. I'm still on a platform doing something. So I'm still, since 2016, it's 5 years later, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21. It's 6 years. And it's still people asking me, share your thoughts on this, give your comments on this, come onto this platform. So I'm just grateful that I get to share, that I have something to share. And I mean, more stuff lined up now coming. And I'm just like, Lord, what's going on? You know?
I must say, most of the things you probably didn't plan is just falling into your, you just like manifesting all of this stuff, and you're attracting all of these things, because you
Yeah.
actually right choice to follow your heart and also give
Yeah.
back by the same thing. So you kind of like you following your purpose.
Yeah.
You just where you need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I genuinely, look, I genuinely believe that, bro. It's my purpose. I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's speak about some of those hardships, bro. So
Woo.
like a lot of with a lot of amazing people that are successful today, a lot of their drive is a lot of their pain and something like that has really, really happened to them. So a lot of people turn their pain into their drive, and it
Yeah.
also sometimes just a life-changing experience can
Yeah.
literally propel you in a different direction,
Yeah.
and like really make you like someone who's like kind of like die hard. Anyone can tell you like, nah, you're not gonna make it, and you'll be like, you don't even know what I've been through, You don't even
No, yeah,
know
yeah.
where I'm from. You like a little fly. Like I don't even picture
Yeah.
you in my vision,
Yeah.
So what would you say? Because you have to break a lot of barriers, and you're still
Yeah.
doing pushing right now. And like you're saying, you don't even have a plan, you're just going with the flow. And people might be like, wow, you're so amazing, you're doing all these things, but you just bruh, I'm going with the flow right here, and I'm so
Yeah.
blessed that everything is falling into place and whatever. So, what is your pain that you would say is really something that made you, that flipped everything in your life and be like, what, I'll never be the same person again. And because of that, I'll always strive, I'll always be strong, I'll always
Yeah.
be amazing.
I think I mentioned all. I think there's various parts to it. The one is what I spoke about earlier, where I said is I was always comparing myself to other people, and I was really not a strong student at school, right? I did really poorly at school. Average, but poorly. I could spell a few weird words with my symbols. I got my marks and stuff. So I think that's one of the stuff that pushes me, because I was not as dope as the dope people and people that's doing quiet, right? So I'm like, okay, I can work hard and I can get it, right? Um, Also, I think part of it is a hardship that I experience. Yo, okay. Another one is, so I'll talk about my loss of my dad a bit later, right? But definitely losing my dad. My dad was murdered in 1996. Okay. And he's an incredible teacher. And my mom, incredible teacher. I'm walking on the shoulders of giants, right? But I think a big part of me also wants to do my mom and my dad proud, right?
Yes.
And that was tough when we lost him. My dad, so, okay, I want to share this. My dad was murdered in 1996, right?
Yeah.
And the story is intense though, because I was home one day, my mom came in from school, and she just said, hey, dad didn't come home. But that morning I was at school, there was a body laying behind the school, right? And we
Yeah.
saw the body, and we were standing there, and there's a police van, it was raining a bit, and there's a blanket over there, right? So I thought, and then we went on as normal school, with normal school day. Then my mom said that, and I said, but there was a body laying behind the school. Then my mom said, okay, and then they ended up at the morgue, and that body was my dad, right? And it's
Yeah.
hectic. And a lot of people don't know that story, so that was pretty intense. So a big part of it is like they were great teachers, so I also want to be a great teacher. So in a sense, it's me wanting to continue that legacy, but also that
Yes.
pain of. And sometimes I go like, I wonder what my dad would think. What would he think of me for what I'm doing now, and
Yeah.
would he be proud and stuff like that. So that's one of the stuff, and that's intense journey. A lot of people when they hear, they're like, oh, how, I didn't know that happened to you. And then
Yeah.
remember at the start when I said, the hardships that we continue most now to push through to do what we want to do, right? I said
Yeah.
my year started off tricky this year. It was horrible. So I took a contract at the school last year. I won't mention the name of the school. And we had an agreement in place, right? I'll come if we do X and Y, because then I had another option, but I thought, okay, I'm going to go with the school.
Yes.
Cool. And suddenly the agreement changed, bruh. The leader there just like, no, you can't take the grade sixes anymore next year, because I wanted to teach all the grade sixes the next year to test my methods, but also to connect with the kids, and it was fine. We want to put you in a different grade. I was, but that's not the agreement. That doesn't fit for what I'm going to do. So I had this choice, Lunga. It's either, and it was tricky because I had no other stuff lined up, and then it was just before COVID. Just before COVID. So I'm in the job. Hang on. Let me get this right. Yeah, so the agreement is there. I start in COVID, right?
Yeah.
There's not too many jobs and stuff around. And in terms of the entrepreneurial work I was doing and the gigs, that all dropped. Everybody, like a lot of the jobs and stuff just disappeared. And gigs, people weren't booking. Everything went online. Some people told me it's online, so we don't have budget anymore. We had to lay people off. Then in COVID, I had this choice. I was like, I can stay on for the sake of staying on, because I could have just taken a post and teach a grade I didn't want to teach because it wouldn't fulfill in terms of my purpose and agreement. But then I'd get money in to support my family, because it's bond, it's debit orders, it's all this stuff. No, it's serious stuff. And I got a kid, my bro, 2-year-old, one turning 2 at that time, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, or I stand up for what I know is right. We had an agreement and we lost it. And I was like, I had to put pen to paper to say why I want to teach this grade. But I was like, but it was in our agreement. Why must I put? Then I said, I'm going to put a pen to paper. But then I was like, I'm not going to put pen to paper because it was our agreement. Lo and behold, I get the letter. I can't continue. But I was like, peace. Bruh. Now, the world will humble you, man. I now thought, good, Minnar. In terms of, at some point, maybe I was betting too much on myself. In terms of, I thought I would be able to get another post because of, I'm qualified. I'm not too bad at what I do. I've done a few cool things in education. My resume, my CV isn't too bad. Bruh, and I start applying. Bro, I apply for jobs. My bro, nothing. And I had the savings, my wife and I, my rock, Janine, the most amazing lady. Maybe I'm getting nothing, bro. I thought, hey, I'm going to apply to this school. I'll get the post next.
Yeah.
But I had applied for this post that I got now, last year, February. But now also nothing. I heard nothing. So I was like, hey, bro, niks gaat gebeur nie. I'm in trouble. Yeah. But then you go, then I was like, okay, you bet too much on yourself. The Lord will humble you. And there was a stage where I was so freaked. And not a lot of people know this. All my close friends will know this. I was freaked to flip out, Lunga. I started just watching Netflix. Janine would cry at times because I just wasn't myself. I'm this bubbly person all the time. I was down and out watching Netflix. Didn't want to be around my friends. Most of my friends didn't know this was happening. And that was January, February. But then at that point, I had gone for at September, after like 7-8 months of applying for the other one that I took a chance for, got an interview, but then it also went quiet. I heard I would hear by end of January if I got that job. All right. So I'm still betting. I'm stressing from January to March, from December to January. I might get this thing. What's the chance? It's a post. It's the other level. You post level 1. You educator beginner. Quiet. Here come February. I was stressed out, bro. Stressed. March. In my chops. Ask Janine. You can talk to her at some point. Down. They don't want to talk to anybody. Cash was running out. Now I'm like, okay, good. You must, but I'll do whatever I must do. I'll go take a job in something else. If I must go do admin, if I must go do a cashier's job, it will be like, your people will be like, good, what's happening? But you must do what you got to do. And I made peace to the end. So that was a horrible stage, Lunga. There was almost no money left. Bond is going off. Financially, it's freaked you out. And you in the pandemic. So that was messed up. And then March, the last day of March, got to pass 10 or something like that. I got that letter that said I got this post that I'm in now. And I'm so grateful. Super amped. And I feel like now that I'm in this post for a few months, this job, I do feel like what I've done before has prepared me for it. I'm learning a lot. Team is incredible. The people are at these challenging moments. But it's I wouldn't want to be in any other district with education at the moment. It's amazing. So that was another battle, bro. And then another last one was, when we just resigned, Janine and I told you we just resigned, right?
Yeah.
Now remember, all the stuff was bouncing payments, and then we liquor again, we got some cash. I got sponsored film gear of over 200,000 by Ford Asset Management. Love these people. We still work together today. 200K. No? Listen to this. I go out one day, I come back, they broke into the place, they stole all the gear. 200,000 rands gear, insurance paid out, only 40,000 rands gear. I could just get a PC and a lens. There was some complication in the contract, in the agreement. And at that point, I was like, I'm going to do this thing. I resigned. I'm going to do this thing. 5 months later, this happens. And I was going to give up. I was like, I told Janine, I cried. I was like, I'm done. I'm going to just go be a normal teacher that doesn't care, that just does what he must do for the family to survive. I'll probably get a job. But through all that, I'm still here and I'm more excited than ever and more hyped up about education than ever. I do think we can shift this thing. And I believe we are in this lifetime. Yeah, so that's sick, bruh. Heavy times.
Amazing, man. So, like, how far do you see yourself taking this journey? Like, are you just letting anything happen, or do you be like, one day I want to have my own school where I have all subjects with the hip hop influence, or you're winging it right now and just going with what God has planned for you?
At the stage, I thought of doing my own school thing, but the more I learned about the business, I was like, it's just so difficult. It's funding, cash. I don't have the business knowledge from my experiences in business. But I realized I left the system, but I stayed in education, and I'm back with the Western Cape Education Department now, and I want to be in the public sector in education because I believe we are all this, like, I'm a public servant. I am the system, right? And the kids the system serves, the kids are the kids who need it the most, right? So I'm not going to go into the private sector. I want to stay here, and I want to use my knowledge and my expertise and grow here to serve our kids who need it, because I believe against all these odds at the moment that with the right mix of people, with the right ideas, with the right energy, that we can take our public education system and take it to a level where all our kids are getting a great education, all of them are getting quality education, and we are serving them well. So this is where I am, and where am I going to go? I don't know. I'm just going to wing it and keep learning and do the best I can. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you've been doing well so far on that, and I guess the lesson that you could take from that is just to be patient, just to be patient and always just work hard. But patience is the biggest lesson of all of that, because there's so many times you say, like, I'm crashing, I don't know what to do. But if only you knew that, just in 3 months time from now, my life is completely different, completely. True. Like 360 flip, So I guess patience, key lesson in a lot of people's journey, especially where we can't control things. We can't control where we want to be sometimes. We can't control what's happening around us. So sometimes it's just best to be patient and keep on swimming. That's something that you always say, keep on swimming.
No, 100, keep Nemo, bro. Oh, Dory. Just keep swimming. Now, look here. Patience is the key, man. Who knew that in 8 months I could be experiencing the lowest of lows to then going to the highest of highs? It does this all the time. And if I threw the towel in, I started doing, the journey technically began when I was in school or before, right? If I threw the towel in then, I wouldn't have been able to do what I'm doing now, right? So the patience is key. You are spot on. And sometimes you want to move too fast or do some things. Just be patient. Yeah. Love that, Lunga. Love that patience. I would tell my younger self that just sit back, man. Be patient. Chill.
Absolutely.
So I have to write this.
And it's something that you only learn once you've been through. You know, you can't, like, even if you prepare them, like, just be patient. They will be like, okay, what are you talking about? It's only once they've go through, because there's lessons that you learn in that journey, and that's where then it's only once you reach a point, that's when you wrap everything up that you've been through, and you've been like, oh, that is what this is was about, what was that was about. And like you said, now everything that you've been through has basically prepared you for now, you know. And even you losing that gear might have looked like, oh my word, you just stripped me from my journey. This would have helped me so much go, but it would have been a journey that you weren't supposed to go on, and you were only supposed to experience the blessing and not to run with that stuff. Maybe you were just supposed to experience that blessing, and something more and better was in for you. So like, that's amazing. Let's say if you're busy with that, you wouldn't have applied for this, you know. You wouldn't be in the place that you are now. So you'd be running some kind of journey that you probably don't even know.
In my nothingness, in that nothingness where I was sitting, I'm on the Western Cape Education Department. You know, we apply for jobs, and I just always thought there's an educator section, and then I think it's the people at the office gonna laugh at me, public staff, or it's your office-based jobs, right? And I decided to just click there and to see what these people do. You know, there's no conversation with office-based stuff when you're teaching, or in my experience. And I see this maths thing for grade 4 to 9, 4 to 7, 4 to 9, and then another one 4 to 6. And I read this thing and I'm like, but I do a lot of this stuff. It's what I've been doing. I've got the teaching experience, but I've also been creating materials out of my own. I've been working with teachers around the country. Let me give this thing a shot. And maybe if I had the gear and all these things and I've been so busy and that worked out, I wouldn't have come across this. So what you're saying is so true. If I look in hindsight, if I look back, maybe and the God just steers you. Also, the Lord is like, no, man. Let me just humble you. Don't.
Absolutely.
And that period has shifted and changed me a lot. I'm just always grateful. And not that I haven't been, but it shifted me and matured me in many ways. That is going to prepare me for, I guess, the journey ahead, God willing.
I think it's a full perspective, and I think we could just apply that to every challenge that we face in life. You know, that just whenever we face like a blockage or a setback, we should just look at it like, maybe this wasn't for me right now, or maybe I'm not supposed to do this journey right now, and that the Lord or my higher self has a better plan for me, and I should just still right now, because clearly I can't control anything that's happening right now. So let me find the time to balance myself and wait. And just wait for the gift to fall on your lap. But also think the emotions are part of the lesson and part of the journey, because we're emotional beings. So it's good to process those things, but to just look at them as emotions, but not to get stuck in that, in the, you know, but just to look at it like, I'm actually down now, you know, and maybe even like have a chuckle about it, but like, look, like I said, I thought I'm going to be quiet, but look where we're at now, you know, have a bit of a chuckle about it and just be like, okay, what's coming next? You know, just be in a positive light, because what comes next is the positive hit, you know, after the storm, like they always say.
But it's so difficult, Lunga.
Yes, it's so challenging. But that's the thing. It's supposed to challenge you because you're supposed to transform. You're not supposed to go through it easy. So I'm glad that a lot of people are tuning in so that they can understand, if you're actually facing something difficult right now, you're just facing that, you're in that dark period that Kurt was in. So best believe your light is going to come soon. And
our timeline in the Lord is complete. And you know this, man. I know that. You go to church or wherever you're spiritual, the God's time. My bro, when you were ours, you're like, it is so different. I don't even understand how different it is.
Absolutely. Yes. Same here. I know all the affirmations. I know how to meditate. I know what I must eat. I know I need to fast. All of the things that puts me on a positive vibration and a positive mind and thinking. But look, I still get my challenges. I still hit rock bottom with those stuff. I feel like I just want to put it at the back and say, you know, because like it's not helping me right now, and I just feel stuck, you know. But you just find yourself again, you know, and that's the most important part. 100%, and with running out of time, but like about 2 questions I still want to like hit you with. Any mentors that you've had like in your journey that you want to salute and just name some of the mentors that kind of guided you and was there and strong for you? And like you mentioned,
Yo,
was someone who actually gave you the platform, your late principal. And
yes.
also, is there anyone that you are mentoring currently right now or have mentored along your journey?
Yo. So, who mentored me? I think obviously number one, it's I've always looked up to her, and my mom. I've always just admired her. She's just amazing, and still till today, I admire her lifestyle, how good she is at what she does. In terms of she retired from teaching now, but she's just exemplary in so many ways. And even my brother and my sister. So from a family point, but what I've done my entire life, I think, is I've seen stuff in various people that I admire. So didn't have one, for example. Do you know what I mean? So, Mr. Taylor, late Mr. Taylor, definitely cool, calm, in control. Love that, right? Um, and then in terms of a dance space, there's so many dance that I also looked up to in terms of what they were doing. So in the dance space, I looked up to certain people. For sure, in the hip hop space, there's also like Reddy D. He's just sticks to his craft and he does his thing and he's always supporting other people, and I love that of him and his wife, Malika. They're just a great couple. So that from a family perspective and doing his thing, it's that. In terms of a lot of the people in the hip hop space, even you, in terms of what you guys do, just your authenticity. So that authenticity is a model for me that I always want to stick to. From an academic space, there's obviously one of the guys whose books I read was from reading maths. I actually forgot his name, but there's Professor Christopher Emden that's been amazing in terms of reading his books. And there's a part of him is just gevaarlijk. Then there's obviously, so various pieces and various people. I don't even want to start mentioning names because the last time I mentioned names, and not that I'm going to miss out, but there's so many people that I admire in terms of certain stuff about things. I can't always pinpoint. And am I mentoring people? I've helped, I'm in conversation with a few people, yes, and I can see growth and I can see them implementing of the work and adding it to what they do, which is already amazing. So I mean, I had a few conversations with the other teacher, Florence Vermeulen. He's dancing teacher with the arts and the rapping and the songs, and he's been doing amazing stuff. But he engaged with me about all the stuff I'm doing in hip hop and he implemented it. So in that sense, not mentoring but could assist. It's another few people now I'm connecting with. I didn't even answer that well, but I just take bits and pieces of all the people, and I want to be like that over you.
And like, have you come across where you had to like do like a mentorship program for teachers where you, I don't know, needed to teach them a new way or had to speak at some conference for teachers or whatever, in terms of like just giving them like tools on how to better.
Yes, I've been doing that since I resigned, which was 2017. I've been going across the country, Limpopo, Eastern Cape, Gauteng, Western Cape, sharing at conferences locally and internationally, sharing how I do certain things. Until today, I still have the opportunity to do that. So in that sense, maybe not mentoring necessarily, but sharing skills and ideas and tips from my side, I guess. Yeah,
it's an extension of mentoring, bro.
100%. And listen, not that I just want to mention her, but like Janine, bruh, my wife, yo, bro, in terms of just holding everything together, because you see how I am, right? All over the place. I'm high energy, low energy. I'm up and low. And she's just in this journey, just pulled everything together for me. She told me the other cut, I just needed to lower down a bit, pause. And meaning that she's that devil's advocate with questions. Why are you doing this? Why? Oh, that's great. I love that. So she is someone, she might not know it, but someone that I look up to in a sense as well, even though she's shorter than me.
That's cute. All right. So here's my favorite question that I like to always end my interviews with. So I'm gonna put you in my time machine, right? And I'm gonna take you back to the very, very young Mr. Kurt Minnar before Pink Kurt and And or maybe even just the beginning of your schooling career, wherever you feel like you want to interject in your life, and you have one bit of advice that you want to give the younger version of you, and it's the Kurt that he's today, that has walked the journey and is doing everything. It's the you of today, going back to the very Kurt. What advice would you give him just to like put him on ease and be like, yo, the journey's gonna be all right?
Okay, my bro, I think we spoke about patience, but I think I would just stop him and say, check here, shake him and go, bruh, you're going to be okay. All these bad things might happen and you might compare yourself to people that are doing incredible things and you feel like you are nothing and you're not as good as certain family members or friends. It is going to be okay. All you need to do, Kurt, just do this. Always be yourself. Stay curious. And every time you fall, get the flip up. Cry, be sad, be emotional, do whatever you want to do. But just stay curious. Keep trying new things. And when you eventually going to find your thing, and then you run with it. And don't let go. Don't stop. Keep crafting or working on whatever this thing is that you're busy with. And be kind to people, love people, connect with people, serve people, and always be, what I'm huge on is just be yourself. Don't change to think you're going to get somewhere else, or be authentic. Away. And maybe study a bit harder, man. Work a little bit harder.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Just put in some effort.
That's such a beautiful message, brother. And thank you. Like, I've really enjoyed have you tonight on this thing, and like so much on this episode of The Price of Fame, you know. And I've learned so much actually of things that I actually didn't know, and would say that I know you so well, you know, because we come so far. But obviously we walk our separate journeys and we learn our separate lessons. Things that you can only learn alone. Like you said, there was a time when you didn't have friends around you to be with you in that moment. You just needed to go alone, you know. So it's really amazing to learn all about that. I've really enjoyed having you here tonight. I'm sure you're the people that you've invited and most of my guests also have enjoyed having you here tonight. Is there any last thing that you want to say before I let you go?
Lunga, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed chatting to you because, I mean, I think this conversation went in a direction that many others don't. You always confined, you have a topic, you have this. Yeah, I could speak about whatever, and I could again just be completely myself. And yeah, so, but thank you for having me. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for creating this platform. I'm very grateful for this and for our friendship. And we might not see each other all the time, but it's always 100 when we do. And yeah, keep doing what you're doing. You're showing people how to be authentic and to run with their dreams. And I'm sure it's also not easy. We all got our stuff. And to everybody that's watching, to the people that's watching this whenever, I want you to just be real, be lekker, be you. Thank you, and stay safe, my bro, man. Yeah.
Quiet.
Oh, get your vaccination. Get your vaccine.
Listen, are there any of you? Please drop your social media handles there. Where can people follow you, be part of your journey? Because I know so much people, you've shined a light tonight, and they just want to see your amazing and just like find out what more you're doing. So please drop all your social handles so we can get that.
Okay, so it's just my normal personal page on Facebook is Kurt Minnar, and then I've got a Twitter account, Kurt Minnar. KURTMINNAR, not single N or single A, Kurt Minnar or Kurt Minaj. No. And then I got a Dreamer Education Facebook page and Kurt Minnar on Insta. I must get the whole nick of this social media thing though. I need to put some focus. I focus on some point. But I post and then I stop. I'll get there. But those are the socials, yes.
Yeah. Absolutely, because also you also run some competitions and you'll be part of competitions, and just not too long ago you needed some people to vote for some. So please, guys, like I always say, it means a lot when you guys participate, when you like, share, subscribe, or those 3 votes. It really, really helps us when we're building our brand and when we're building our career.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you are very much a huge part of our journey. Yes, you
Yes.
watching this, you are a part of our, and all your little efforts mean a lot, because to get where
Totes.
we need to be, or sometimes to be validated in certain places, we need your validation. So your help and your support means a lot. Kurt, it's been amazing. Like I said, it's really, really good to see you again and get to know you and
Yeah,
speak, share your story. Thank you so much for tonight, brother. And I have to say good night to you. May you enjoy the rest of your evening and get back to that crazy 2-year-old.
look here. She literally just started knocking on the door here. Daddy.
Yeah, you're over time. You're over
As
time.
the universe. Lunga, thank
Yeah.
you. Have a lovely evening and connect again.
All right, let's cool. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. Good night, bro. See you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another lovely episode of The Price of Fame. If you haven't seen anything of The Price of Fame before, and this is your first episode, you need some catching up to do. You can follow me on Facebook. My Facebook page is Lunga Tshuka, the Energizer Funny. That is Lunga Tshuka, the Energizer Funny. On Instagram, you can catch me at Lunga Tshuka. That is at Lunga Tshuka. And for exclusive interviews of The Price of Fame and snippets, we have a separate page on Instagram called The Price of Fame ZA. That is The Price of Fame ZA. Also in the bio, you'll find the link to my YouTube page where you catch all the full episodes of The Price of Fame. And then you go there and you like and subscribe. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in for another episode of The Price of Fame. My name is Lunga Tshuka. I've been your host, and this is The Price of Fame.